Alright, look here. Real talk time, okay? Real talk. We need to have a word. We need to have a word about Tekken 8 ranked, okay? It's time for some real talk about Tekken 8 ranked. I've been putting this off. I didn't want to complain. I didn't want to moan too much, but we need to have a fucking conversation about this terrible, terrible system. Or perhaps more accurately, yeah, we need to talk about how we talk about ranked. Why am I saying this? I go online, yeah. Don't ask me why, but I still frequent Tekken Reddit. I still frequent Tekken Facebook groups. Don't ask me why. I'm a masochist, okay? And that's just a toxic hellhole in its own right. I'm not even gonna try and sell you on that shit. But every once in a while, yeah, someone will ask a pretty legitimate question. Do you know what I mean? They will be quite vulnerable and be like, hey, look, this game is getting me stressed out and I don't know what to do. I'm losing my hair here. Like I'm throwing keyboards at the screen. I'm abusing my kids. I'm about to commit harikiri real quick and I need help because I'm losing my mind. And one of the top comments will always be, and it's a comment that pisses me off to no end. It'll be someone being like, man, rank doesn't matter, man. Get over it. Rank don't matter. Why are you getting angry over internet points? Rank don't matter. And it's like, okay, this is true. Like technically, yes, this is true. We know this. But here's the thing though. That's actually not useful to say. And here's why it's not useful, okay? Here's the reason why it's not useful. And why ranked, whether you want to admit it or not, does matter, okay? Reason number one, we're fucking human, okay? We are fucking human. And the problem with being a human, one of the many problems with being a human, other than the need to eat and shit, is the fact that we get emotionally attached to things that in the grand scheme of things, we know don't matter, right? Think about it this way. Let's say you've had a shitty day. I don't know why. Maybe your girlfriend left you. Maybe you didn't get that job that you wanted, or you got fired from your job or whatever. And then someone comes to you and they say, look, why are you complaining? You got a roof over your head. You got food in your belly. You know, you're living a life more enchanted than most of your ancestors could dream of, right? You should be happy. Tell the truth, yeah? Someone says that to you. Look me in the eye right now and tell me that you don't want to slap that nigga. Tell me that you won't want to slap him, right? Because the thing is, intellectually, yeah, what he's saying is true. But you're a human, right? And we care about things and we get emotionally invested in things. And naturally, when we're emotionally invested in something, when that thing goes well, even if the course of our life hasn't actually changed, we feel good. And if we get emotionally invested in something and that thing goes bad, then we feel bad. Again, regardless of if our life has actually changed. So telling people, hey, these rank points don't matter is kind of like horseshit. Not because it's not intellectually true, but because it's not emotionally useful. It's not a useful thing to say. Do you know what I mean? And I think as you get older, you realize that that you don't get to decide how you feel. Like you just don't, right? You can't just be like, don't be angry. You're like, I don't choose to be angry. You can't say don't care. I don't choose not to care. I don't choose to care. You know what I mean? It's kind of wild. And I just think it's really, I think if someone is vulnerable enough to be like, hey, look, this is really getting to me, I feel like telling them that it doesn't matter. I see why people do it. They want to be helpful, but it doesn't actually help. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, if we're being really honest, we do care. Which leads me on to point two, right? We're competitive. This is a competitive genre, right? It's inherently about me versus you, and we're going to figure out in the next 3 to 5 rounds which of us is better in this moment. It's an inherently competitive system. And so naturally, yeah, any meta system that is claiming to be assessing who is better than who, what band of skill you're in, you're gonna care about. I actually don't think it's, I can't vouch for this. Maybe there are like Zen monks out there. But I don't think it's possible to simultaneously commit oneself to getting good at this game and then not caring at all about the results. I know, again, intellectually, that's what you should do. You should focus on the learning process, focus on just learning and getting as good as you can, right? We all know that's what you should do. But may I remind you, point one, we are human, right? And we get emotionally invested whether we should or not, right? And this is especially true in a game that is in a genre that is inherently competitive. So again, ranked matters on a human level, right? And we just have to acknowledge that if we're going to have conversations about the current rank system. Before I go into my feelings about the current rank system, we have to acknowledge why the second you have a competitive game and you have a mode called ranked, then regardless of the quality of it, it is going to have an impact on your like mental well-being if you have decided to care about the game. If you don't care about the game, like fuck it, I just play it to play, that's fine. But the second you are like, no, I'm actually going to commit some percentage of my life to trying to get good at this game, ranked is going to matter, right? Which leads me on to point 3. There is some truth to ranked, right? Again, when people say rank doesn't matter, on some level they know it's not completely true, because it's not a coincidence that the best players in the world are all GOD. Do you know what I mean? It's not a coincidence that the best players in the world all happen to have the highest ranks in the game. That's not a coincidence. And we also know that if you were to take let's say you had to bet your mother's kidney. Your mother's one kidney. She lost a kidney last year, horrible incident. Now she only got one. The bitch only got one kidney. Now you gotta bet the other kidney on the outcome of a match. And I show you've never seen these two people play. But player 1, their highest character is Genbu. And player 2, their highest character is Tekken God. Okay? This is the only information you know. You don't know what character they play, you don't know anything else. You can't sit there and tell me that this is going to be a coin flip. Rank doesn't matter, whatever, just you have to flip a coin. Like, you know damn well that if I tell you this person's highest ranked character is Tekken God and his other one's highest ranked character is fucking Genbu, you know damn well you put your money on Tekken God. You know this, right? Because it is measuring something, right? Is it measuring it accurately? We'll discuss that later. Spoilers, fucking no. But like, it's not completely arbitrary. And the sliver of truth it has adds to the reason why we typically want our main, at least, to have a relatively high rank. It's funny, I now have 3 characters in the rank system. I have my Leo, who's my main, I have Asuka, and I've been starting to play a bit of Feng. And what's interesting is I don't give a fuck where Asuka is or Feng is. I don't give a fuck, right? I don't care if they win, lose, the bar goes up, goes down, I don't give a fuck, right? Because I know the rank system is trash, I've already accepted that, but like my main though, I'm emotionally invested in that motherfucker's rank. Again, should I be? No. Am I? Absolutely. Okay? So, and I think that's true for most of us, right? Like, there is something about that thing, right? So, okay. Next point. Okay? Next point. Why ranked always sucks. Before we can go into why Tekken 8 ranked sucks, we have to acknowledge that there is something inherently stressful about ranked, right? There is something inherently stressful about being assessed in anything that you care about. It is what it is, right? Rank is always going to be stressful. And we need to go over that, so when we start to talk about Tekken 8 ranked, we can eliminate these things from that discussion, because this is inherent in anything. Whether you're playing League of Legends, whether you're playing fucking, I don't know, Rainbow Six Siege, whether you're playing fucking For Honor, whatever you're playing, any rank system is going to have a certain amount of stress, right? Inherent to it. Reasons 1, right? Normal stress. One thing is, like I said, competing against other humans is always going to be a little bit stressful. It is what it is, all right? You got to accept it up front, right? And there's also the fact of like balance, right? Because we know, let's pretend for a second that each character required equal amounts of skill from the pilot in order to get the results in, right? Even if that were true, which we know damn well it's not true. I'm not going to get into who's carried, who's the whatever. You already know how I feel about that. I've got other videos discussing that. But even if every character required the same amount of skill for, let's say, competitive output, it would still be stressful having to match up against another person. That's just human nature, right? And then add to the fact that no game is really ever like truly balanced. Alright, normal stress, right? But that's part of the package. Like the second you agree to play a ranked mode, you're kind of signing up for that. Okay? So like, all ranked systems are going to be like this. They're going to be a certain amount of stress. So if you are designing a ranked system, there are 2 approaches to dealing with this. Okay? Approach 1, smooth out the lows. You as a game designer know that ranked is stressful. So we're going to implement systems that are specifically designed to make the stress lessen. That's one approach you can take. So for example, maybe one way you could do it is like let's say you lost, if you're playing against someone who's higher rank than you, maybe you lose less points when you lose. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, not that stressful. Or maybe you could do, I don't know, if you play a bunch, let's say 100 games, you get a certain amount of like pity points. By the way, I'm not advocating for this. This isn't what I want, but it's something that you could do. It's a design choice that you would understand a designer making, being like, okay, this is an inherently stressful game mode. We're going to implement features to make it less stressful than it otherwise might be. Again, I don't want this, but this is the thing that you could do. Approach 1, right? Smooth out the lows, right? Then you have approach 2, which is the one I want, which is hands off. Meaning, we are not going to do things to make ranked less stressful, but we're also not going to do things to make ranked more stressful. It is what it is. Hands off. If you suck in our rank system, you just suck. It sucks to suck. You gotta hold that. Go away, study, fill up. We're not here to make you feel better, but we're also not here to make you feel worse. It is what it is. That is like a valid approach, and it's the approach that I would want. Okay? Hands off. It is what it is. Don't get angry at me. It's not my fault that you can't block Snake Edge. Get good. Know what I mean? It's not my fault. Not my fault that you can't break throws. Get good. Right? That's the approach that I would want. Okay? Now, let's talk about what Tekken 8 has given us. Let's talk about what Harada and Murray and the boys have given us, right? And let's talk about why Tekken 8's rank system is especially toxic. Especially toxic, okay? Reason 1. Sadistic point system. Okay. Who the fuck designed this point system, man? Who did it? Who did it? Which one of you? Was it you, Mari? Was it you, Harada? Which one of you? Because this system is fucking... Okay, let me calm down here. Let me calm down. Remember what I said just a second ago about hands off or hands on? Okay. If you were doing a hands-off system, you would probably make it so that if I play against you and winning against you would get me X amount of points, then losing against you should lose me X amount of points. Whatever value I get for winning, I should also get for losing. Stop me if what I've said is like rocket science, yeah? That is basic system, and we've had it in previous Tekkens. We can argue about what that should be. We should argue about what that number should be. But typically, one way of doing it that people wouldn't really be able to complain about, not reasonably, would be if I win, I get X. If I lose, I get X. Right? Same value. That would feel fair. You'd still have to deal with the regular frustration of Tekken, but on an emotional level, you could accept that fate. Another system you could do though, and this would be more of a hands-on system, would be more like an ELO type system, right? Meaning that if you're really good or you're high rank and I'm low rank, if you beat me, I actually don't lose that much. Because the rank system says, well, of course you lost. This guy's fucking God and you're Genbu. Like, you lose nothing, right? Because like, and this person shouldn't get points either way because they're your height. Like, that's how it should be. That's duh. But if I win against you, I should get a ton of points. And you should lose a ton of points, right? Because it's like, okay, even though you're low rank, you've clearly beaten this like fucking Grandmaster. So maybe the rank system should be like, okay, maybe we've underestimated you. Maybe you too are a Grandmaster. So we're gonna bump you up hugely. At the same time, this Grandmaster's like, hey, we thought you were a Grandmaster, but here you are losing to this basic bitch. Maybe you're a basic bitch. So you have to calm down, right? So you can have this ELO system. And the ELO system is widely recognized as like the most honest, competitive system because it balances out over the long term. Actually, not even long term, it balances out really quickly, right? Because even if I just start playing ranked now, if I beat, let's say five Tekken gods real quick, I'll get a ton of points. I'll be like, all right, let's bump this motherfucker up because clearly his level of play is like up here, right? simultaneously, even if I cheat the system and let's say I buy a hack or whatever and I get all the way up there, the second I lose to like 5 low rank players, I'll sink all the way down. So it's very volatile, but it's also very accurate. It's a very accurate ranking system. Both of these are valid, right? X for X or ELO. Both very valid. What we've got instead though is the worst of both worlds. The most horseshit thing I've ever seen, right? I don't play ranked that often. I only really play ranked on stream because I think it's more exciting for stream to watch people play ranked, right? It's fun, it's more dramatic when you're watching people to see the points go up and down. So I do it for the stream. Off stream, fuck ranked, right? And I'll go into what I actually do later on. But like, that, it is, I'm losing it. Just thinking about rank system is wild. Because I'll give you an example, right? This morning, as I was thinking about making this video, I decided to go into ranked. And it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm playing against this dude who is better than me. I am currently Tekken Emperor, and this guy is Tekken, what was he? Tekken God Supreme, right? So he's what is that? That's 2 levels above? Yeah, so he's 2 levels above me, right? Okay, cool. 2 levels above me. So I go into this and I play. First game, he bodies me. He bodies me, as he should. He's a legit good player. I think he has multiple other characters at GOD. So like this was like a real Tekken match. I lose 600 and I think about 690 points. Okay, cool. Do I want to rematch this guy? I'm thinking, why not, right? Because I'm not a bitch. I'm gonna finish the set. I'm not a bitch. Regardless of what the point system say, I'm not a bitch. So I play this guy expecting to lose another 690 points. That doesn't happen. I win. Don't ask me how. I'm gonna keep it real. I scumbagged this guy out. I was putting out all the gimmicks and he fell for them all. Right? I beat him. And I'm like, hey, I'm pretty proud of myself. I beat this guy. I still think he's a better Tekken player than me, but I beat him. I get 300 and something points. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I've played this guy who's clearly better than me, by your own standards better than me, and I lose 600 points. I beat this guy. I get half. And then the game has the audacity to be like, okay, do you want to rematch again? And it puts me in this weird spot where I'm like, rationally speaking, if I'm optimizing my play for ranked, I should not play this guy again. I shouldn't play this guy again. Like, this system is such that you should cherry pick. It's what I have so much more to lose than to gain. And even if we were of equivalent skill, I should back out, right? Because I have so much more to lose than to gain. But add to the fact that he's clearly a better Tekken player than me, I should fucking leave, right? But I don't leave, because I'm an idiot. Also, because I'm not a bitch. So I play this guy, and lo and behold, I lose, and I'm just like, I'm angry as fuck. But I was angry even before the final game. I was angry after winning the second game, because I was like, I've been robbed. Like, this is toxic. Who did this? Who made it like this? Who raised you? Who raised these designers? Harada, who raised you? Michael Mori, who raised you? Can you not spell fair? Like, what is this, fam? Right? So I'm apoplectic. I'm apoplectic, right? But here's the thing, right? Some of you watching this are like, fucking Chad, calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down. Rank doesn't matter. The points don't matter, right? Why are you being a bitch about? Why are you being a bitch for, right? All that matters is like the Tekken experience. But here's the thing though. What Tekken experience, right? In previous Tekkens, let's say I could play this guy, this one player over and over again. I'm not just saying this to be funny. I would genuinely be willing to play this guy over and over again, losing 690 points every time and getting demoted all the way back to Fujin. I'm not lying. I would genuinely be willing to do that if I could play him again and again and again, because what I'd be losing in terms of points, I would be gaining an experience. This is the caliber of play I want to be at. If I want to ever be at GOD, I have to be able to beat players like this, right? Consistently. I have to be able to think at the speed that they do. I need to be able to calculate what they do. I need to be able to keep up, right? So I would be glad to lose thousands, tens of thousands of points for the experience of playing this guy. But that's not an option, because I can only play him once. And how much can you really learn by playing him once? At a certain point, I already have all the experience I'm really going to get, because I can just like leave now and then watch the 2 matches that we've already played in terms of replays. right? So like, what value is there other than the points? None, right? None. Like, the only reason I'm doing it is out of a sort of old-fashioned sense of like Tekken honor, whatever the fuck that means, right? But even I say, I'm like, what a dumb thing to do. This is so dumb. Because clearly I'm emotionally invested. I'm trying to like push my skills higher. Not even skills. I want the golden PNG. I want my thing to say Tekken God. Clearly I'm emotionally invested in that, right? So I should just cherry pick and be a bitch. But I also have this old school sense of like, ugh, but you know, if I get to that level and I'm not finishing the set, then have I really earned it, right? So it's almost like self-imposed, but I shouldn't be having this like debate. Like I shouldn't be having this debate. Like the system should reward consistent play and punish non-consistent play. But anyway, I'm going off topic. The point I'm trying to make is that choice to make it so that at a certain level, I think it starts at Fujin at the blues and gets worse, that if you lose to a player in your bracket, regardless of where they are, you lose X points. But if you win outside of your bracket, you only get half. That is a masochistic, that is a sadistic choice. That is a sadistic, evil choice. And it makes me go, why would you make it like this? But I have theories as to why they made it like this, and I'll get into that, right? But I've talked about the point system enough. There's no one watching this video who doesn't already know that the point system is fucked up. There's no one watching this who doesn't know that, okay? So now we're gonna get to the next thing that really pisses me off. The streak system makes everything I've just said 10 times worse, okay? Because the streak system introduces gambling into what is supposed to be an assessor as to how good you are, right? Some of you, actually most of you probably already know where I'm going with this, but for those of you who don't, let me get to the point. In any ranked window, right, there are going to be people in your window who are better than you. Let's say on this side, better than you. They are better than you, and if you play them in sets, they're probably going to beat you, right? And that's fine, that's fair. There are also people in your ranked window who you are better than, either because you're just better than them at Tekken, or you just know their character better than they know your character. Whatever the reason, there are people who, if you encounter them, you'll probably win. And then other people in your window, if you encounter them, you'll probably lose. Now, in a healthy rank system, it should not matter what order I fight them in, right? It shouldn't matter, right? So let's say player A, B, and C is better than you. Player D, E, F, worse than you, okay? The current ranking system is such that if you encounter player A first, then player B, then player C, then player D, there's a good chance you'll be demoted, right? Because of the streaking system. You lose twice to player A, you lose twice to player B, that includes a debuff, and you lose to C, you get pushed again, right? And even though you went to D, I don't know, it doesn't balance out. Conversely, if you encounter D first, then E, then F, and then C, the same pool of players, you get promoted, right? And so all of a sudden, not only do you have to focus on like just trying to play the best Tekken you can, you also have to pray to the Tekken gods that the conveyor belt of opponents it gives you skews towards the floor of your skill as opposed to the roof of your skill. And again, the order in which you fight these people should not matter. It shouldn't matter. It should all equal out in the end, right? And you could argue that in some senses it does, but like, ideally it shouldn't matter if I have a bad day today, because I know that I have a good day tomorrow, right? And it doesn't matter, like the streaking system, it shouldn't matter. But like, they've subtly and quite skillfully introduced almost gacha levels of gambling into the rank system via the streak system, because the order in which you fight people now is, I won't say just as important, but it's extremely important to your success in the rank system, and that shouldn't matter. Am I crazy? Am I crazy to say that it shouldn't matter, like the order in which you fight people? And the thing is, again, I know I'm not crazy because previous rank systems have not done this. So we've seen that Tekken can have a rank system that doesn't do this. So like, what is happening, right? And again, it makes me realize the people who made this game, they're not dumb, right? I know we like to talk about how dumb the designers are, but like, we know that they're intelligent people. They are. So I don't think that this is them trying to make a system that is optimized for accuracy and failing. I also don't think it's them trying to make a system that's optimized for enjoyment and failing. I think they've clearly optimized their system for something and it's succeeding, but it's not rank accuracy and it's not enjoyment. So the question is, what the fuck is this system optimized for? What is it optimized for, right? And to me, I think it's gambling. I think it's optimized for, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Skinner's box. I'm not gonna break down what a Skinner's box is, but if you've ever played like an MMO, then that sort of like, or a gacha game, then, or a slot machine, then you know what the Skinner's box is, right? And that to me is the crux of this whole video. It is, when you see the words ranked, you assume that you are participating in some sort of like competitively honest assessment of skills, right? You're assuming that you're kind of removing the gambling element in, but they have subtly introduced a gambling element they've introduced gambling with the aims of making the mode addictive, right? And I think, as someone who is very weak to Skinner's boxes, I used to play MMOs like non-stop. I was super addicted to MMOs, so I know it's about me. I'm like, oh, I see what you've done. And I personally, because I know that I'm very vulnerable to Skinner's boxes, I'm like, the second I smell some gacha or some, like, you know, dark design in terms of gambling directions, I pull the fuck away. Because I'm like, I see what you're trying to do, I'm not doing it. Because I know it works. I'm like, you're not gonna do this to me, right? And like, I really want to warn people about this, because if this is your first Tekken game, you have no pool of reference as to just how toxic the system is. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're playing ranked and you feel that like, man, am I crazy? Is this system toxic, or am I just weak? No. I mean, you might be weak, I don't know you, but like, the system is toxic. The system is legit toxic. Like, it is gross. And again, it's very easy to say with your fucking mouth, oh, the rank system doesn't, who cares about that? Who cares about the points? But like, again, intellectually we know it's true. But as a human being, there is just something about seeing that bar go up that makes you feel good, and something about seeing that bar goes down that makes you feel bad. And that would be okay if the bar going up and down was governed exclusively by your skill, your learning, your outputs. Like, if that was the kind of system we had, that would be fine. But it's not. And it's really, yeah, it really gets to me. And everyone was really excited about this Lydia shit. You know, everyone's talking about like, oh, I can't wait for Tekken Talk. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, don't talk to me about Lydia. Fuck Lydia. I want Tekken Talk. I want them to come out and just explain, hey, here is the ranked and matchmaking system as we've designed it, and here's why we've done it, right? But they'll never do that. Because if they do that, they'll have to admit what I've just said, which is that they've done it. It's not optimized for ranked accuracy, which is what the name ranked would suggest, and it's not optimized for player enjoyment. Either of these would be valid, right? If it was optimized for ranked accuracy, then the ruthlessness of it would be okay. Like, yeah, it sucks to go down, but like, it would feel great to go up. Whereas increasingly, as I'm playing, I'm like, wow, my rank is very much determined by the rate of people that I've encountered, because I've done the maths, right? And like, right now I'm Tekken Emperor. I'm at the midpoint of Tekken Emperor. I've gone up and down, so now I'm at the midpoint. And I've gone, it's very interesting that if I had played against all the people who I beat first, I would be at God, and then would have come down, like, and then would have got demoted, right? And conversely, if I had played against all the people that I had lost to first, the additional points would have added up to the point where I would be down back to Tekken King. So it's like, why is there a luck element in this? Like, there's something about that is just fucked. It's just fucked. Anyway, I've ranted long enough about what's fucked up about this. I want, believe it or not, I actually want the channel to be a positive place, because the Tekken community can be quite negative. And even though I talk a lot of shit, hopefully most people realize that when I talk shit, I'm being playful, right? Because this game is stressful, and I know what it's like for new players. I remember what it's like to, like, you play this game and you decide you want to get good and you commit yourself to getting good, and it's like, how the fuck do I do it? This game is so stressful. This game is so confusing. And let me tell you something. If you're new to Tekken 8, listen to me. Listen to me when I say this. Tekken 8 is harder to get good at than any Tekken game that has ever come before. I'm telling you, right? If you are struggling, do not feel bad. This game is hard as fuck, okay? It is hard as fuck. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I don't care if you see a post, hey, I've been playing Tekken for 1 week and I managed to make it a Tekken god. Don't get distracted, fam. This game is hard, right? There's no inherent long set system to allow you to get used to animations. Like, if you don't buy the DLC characters, you can't even lab against them. Like, there are so many systems. The game is more bloated and convoluted than ever before. Like, trust me, this game is fucking hard, right? And the rank system is just the dog shit cherry on top of the bullshit cake, okay? So, why am I making this video? Not just to rant. I know I like my rant videos. My rant videos do pretty well on the channel. I actually want to provide some solutions. Because like I said at the very beginning, you can't just say rank doesn't matter, right? Because it does, emotionally. So what do we do? What do we do mentally? Here's my solutions. Or at least, here's my thinking, okay? 1, we have to remember that fighting games are not RPGs. Like I said, I read the Reddit, I look at Facebooks, and I see a lot of people, they ask this question about how do I get good, right? And they'll talk about, I play hundreds, thousands of hours of just playing, and I hit the wall. And I'm like, bruv, you do not, this isn't an MMO, right? You cannot just keep playing and then let your experience bar go up. It doesn't work. It has never been the case. And in this game, more than ever, it doesn't work, right? You have to study. You have to study. Right? You cannot just play. You have to study. What do I mean by study? When you lose a match, you have to look at the replay and you have to figure out if there was a thing you could have done to change the flow of the match, right? And I'm gonna do a video after this about like how to actually study this game, how to learn. Learning how to learn. It's the key skill, more important than anything else. And you will see, like, I remember playing Tekken 7, there were people who would play, I'm not exaggerating, they would play tens of thousands of games and they would still be stuck in green ranks. And it's like, I feel bad for them because they're just, and to be fair, if they don't care, they don't care. But sometimes they would care. And it's just a case of like, they don't know what they're paying, then they have to study, right? So point 1, you cannot just play this game non-stop and never go to training mode, never look at your replays, just trust that like almost like by osmosis, you'll just passively learn the game. I mean, you probably will, but the rate of advancement is so slow, you'll want to kill yourself. It's wild, right? So it's not an RPG. You can't just farm online modes, okay? For me, what you need to do, one thing to do is you need to focus on win rates, right? So almost more important than any individual rank, you need to be like, okay then, how good am I against Law? How good am I against Leia? How good am I against Asuka? How good am I against Deviljin? How good am I against fucking Kazuya? How good am I against whatever, right? You've got to focus on individual win rates because that is the key to advancement. Not just in rank, but just like in terms of, I mean, I guess just win rate in total, right? And one of the things I think is, there are so many design choices that just make me laugh. You know how if you go into player data, you can see your win rate on individual stages. So it could be like, you know, on the, Jin's subconscious stage, you have a 52% win rate, whereas in fucking this other stage, you have the win rate. So they'll show you that, but they won't show you your win rate against individual characters. And it's like, who the fuck designed this game? Who the fuck designed this game? Why would I want to know my win rate on stages and not want to know my win rate against Jin? Like, anyone with an IQ about 5 would know that of those two data pools, my win rate against characters is infinitely more important than my win rate on stages. Like, why would you, who raised you? Who educated you? Like, surely, if there was a win rate I would want to know, it'd be like, hey, of all the characters in this game, who is beating my ass the most? Who's beating my ass the most? Oh, I'm losing the most to Eddie. Cool. I need to focus on the Eddie matchup, right? That's the matchup that's bringing my overall win rate down. Who's the character I'm losing the least to? Oh, I have a pretty good win rate against this character. Okay, cool. I can afford to not focus on them. Being able to just have a nice little spreadsheet like, hey, here's your win rate against all the characters. It's like any well-made fighting game has this. And it's I'm even angrier now because I play Street Fighter 6. And Street Fighter 6 is such a better made game. It's unbelievable. Anything that you would think of, like, of course you need to have this. Street Fighter 6 has it, right? Like, for example, respectfully, how the fuck do you have a replay feature in Tekken 8 and I can't watch the match in slow motion? Think about that. It's the year of our Lord 2024. How do you not have any kind of video playing mode and not allow the players or the viewer to change the speed? How? In Street Fighter, you can literally go frame by frame. So you can pinpoint the moment you fucked up. The moment you fucked up. But can you do that in Tekken? No. You have this awkward thing where you just have to keep going scrubbing back. And you can't scrub back to a set point. You just have to keep scrubbing back. It's so... There's just all these things that you're like, surely you would have thought about this. But I'm going off on one. Point is, if you're playing ranked and you're going crazy, the solution is you need to start focusing on win rate. Trust me, I have a more concrete solution afterwards. I'm working my way up to it, okay? 3. You have to avoid player churn. This is a key thing that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to, right? There was a tweet, I think it was, what's his name? I think it was King J said, man, this game is like really hard to stream. It's way harder to stream than any other Tekken game. And a lot of other pros were like, yeah, I'm feeling that. And they weren't really sure why. And let me tell you why. Fighting games were not meant to be played one after the other, right? It's not meant to be, I play player A, then player B, then player C, then player D, then player E, F, G. I wasn't supposed to just go boom, 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 boom. Think about it in a tournament setting. In a tournament setting, you sit down, boom, sit down at the cabinet, shake hands with your opponent, you lock in intensely for 5 minutes and play the best Tekken you can. And then what happens? You stop playing. You decompress, right? You have time away, right? That's one way of playing. Or if you're playing online, historically, I would sit down and the game would match me up against you, and I could play you for 15 minutes straight, right? I could play one person. This is the key. We can play 20 games, but you play one person for a long period of time. I do my bullshit gimmicks on you, I beat you. You adapt to my bullshit gimmicks, start beating me. I then have to counter adapt. And you have this really fun dance where two humans are like adapting and counter adapting, and both of you are getting better and better at the game, and both of you are learning the matchups. These two methods of play are like different types of play, and they are key methods. Tekken 8 doesn't allow you to do either of them, right? Tekken 8 forces you to do one after the other. Player after player after player after player after player. And unlike in tournament settings, which is in theory this is supposed to try and simulate, it forces you to just go over and over and over and over again against different people. And it actually, here's the thing. Here's the most controversial thing I'll say. I actually think this type of play makes you a worse Tekken player. Because what does it do? You will develop naturally a level 1 flowchart. Like, this is what I do. And you beat an opponent or you lose, and then you go against another person and you do the same thing. Level 1 again. The next person, level 1 again. Next person, level 1 again. Because you don't have time to build up a level 2, a level 3, a level 4, a level 5. You just kind of, both of you just kind of put your dick on the table, see who's bigger, I win, I leave, and I go. There's no adaptation, there's no counter adaptation. It's not how fighting games are supposed to be played. It's just not, right? It's just not. Like, even if you think about the arcade days, right? Arcade days, you would go in, right? And there's no ranking system. You just play against who's there. And sometimes you're the hammer, other times you're the nail. Sometimes I'm better than this other motherfucker and I just win and I'm great. And then other times they're better than me. But either way, we would play for as long as availability would allow. And typically the number of human beings you would play would be small. This is key. Tekken is best where you play against a small number of people. Like that sort of task switching of like, okay, I gotta lock in, play the best I can against Eddie. Okay, lock in, play the best I can against this random Alyssa. Okay, lock in, play the best. That's not fun. That's not healthy. It's not right. It's just not cool. It's just not cool. So, final point. Given all the stuff I've been bitching about, okay, what do we do? Right? All this whole video, I've been talking about like ranked is really stressful, ranked is no fun. What do we actually do though? Here's my solution, and here's what I've been doing whenever I play ranked off stream, which is, to be fair, not that often, but it's what I did back when I was playing Tekken 7, and it really helped me, and it's even more effective now in Tekken 8. And it's worth knowing that I came from Tekken 7, from never playing any fighting game, no nothing to frame data, to by the end of it, getting all the way up to Tekken God, right? So like, I'm not a pro, but I know the path, right? I know the way, and let me lead you along the way. This is my solution, right? First to 6 against the world. What do I mean? You build up Tekken 8. You click on ranked, and you tell yourself before the game starts, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to play 6. I'm going to play until I either win or lose 6 games. That's the game, right? If I win 6 games before I lose the 6, then this was a good ranked session. Positive, I've won. I don't care what the boss says. I don't care about the streak. If I win 6 before I lose 6, this is a positive ranked session. I can leave happy. If I lose 6 before I win, then I go, okay, this was a negative ranked session. I clearly have holes in my game. I'm going to stop playing. I'm going to study the sets I lost. To be fair, even if you win, you should study the sets you've lost. But especially if you lose, you check the replay. What did I do? Okay, this scummy Alyssa was doing down back 1-2. This Asuka was doing down back 1-2. I wasn't ducking to 2. If I ducked to 2, I could have launched them and won the round. I didn't know that before, but now I do. Unlocked, right? You've got to study. You've got to have smaller sets in ranked. If you try to spam ranked, I'm telling you, it is bad for your mental health. But perhaps more importantly, it's bad for your Tekken. Fuck your mental health. Life is bad for your mental health, but it's bad for your Tekken because it'll instigate bad habits, and you'll get into this RPG mindset where I'll just keep playing, I'll get better. But that's not how it works. You have to learn. You have to lose, then you have to forensically analyze why you lost, which is why having smaller sets is key. And it's also important to not have your goal be going up the ranks or going down the ranks. That's your long-term goal. Of course you want that, but you need to have a micro goal that is more trackable. Do you know what I mean? That it needs to be like, okay, this was a successful, even though I have not gone up a rank, even if my bar ultimately has gone down, that's not the point. My goal was to win 6 before I lost 6, and I've done that. Or I lost 6 before I won 6, that was the failure, which means that somewhere in that 6, there's a matchup weakness. There's a hole. My opponent was exploiting exploiting my ignorance, and I've got to fix that, right? So I don't lose the same way again in the future. That to me is the key. First to 6 against the world is the best way to play ranked, if you're going to play ranked at all. And trust that over time, by having these different sessions of first to 6 against the world, first to 6 against the world, if you have enough positive ones, you will rank up, right? Now, the rate at which you rank up will change depending on all those factors I talked about before, the streaks and everything. But if you maintain a positive win rate, trust that things will work out in the long run. That's like my advice. First to 6 against the world. Hopefully you've enjoyed my rant. I had to get it off my chest. I've been thinking about it for the longest fucking time. And if you take one thing from this video, just know you are not alone in this fucking insane asylum that is Tekken 8 wrecked. Alright, hope this video sees you well. Hit like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And yeah, until next time. Peace.